Colorado.
And you said you are off of Donlin Road. How far are you from Los Angeles?
Almost every home there on Santa Cruz was destroyed with this fire. It went out on Santa Cruz, I believe, and it was 8972, I believe, Santa Cruz.
Taken to hospitals. They received because they due to the storm and the electric shock, 2 people, 72 people were struck by lightning. Are you serious? 72 people.
Tonight, and joins us now with more. Macy.
Tony and Adrian, the Carr fire takes the spot for the 6th most destructive fire in California history. The Record Searchlight newspaper obtained the 911 dispatch calls. Tonight, we listened to those calls and heard their desperate pleas for help.
I can't. No, I have to have a ride out of here. It's all on fire around it.
A man trapped inside of a dozer with the Carr fire raging on all sides.
Stay in line, okay?
I'm sure a couple of these guys got killed.
What was your first name, sir?
Don.
Don. Okay.
In audio of the calls posted on the Record Searchlight website, Dawn and the dispatcher went back and forth trying to pinpoint his location. She assured him help was on the way, but Dawn warned of the danger.
Don't risk anybody's life for mine, but as soon as it lays down, send somebody for me, please.
Of course I will.
It's unclear what happened to Dawn.
Can you just stay on the line for me, okay? Just
good.
Okay.
But
Dawn, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I'm going to have you call your wife, and I'm going to get someone out there as soon as possible, okay? All right, bye-bye.
Now, the identity of the man in the dozer is still unclear. The Carr fire burned for more than 2 months, and officials say it was sparked after a trailer with a flat tire ignited nearby brush.
You just hear the emotion, certainly in Dawn and the dispatcher's voice going through that as it was happening.
He's trying to stay calm in all of that craziness.
Gives you chills. Macy, thanks.
CAL FIRE. Hi, for Adobe Canyon Road. One more time. Adobe Canyon. Wires are arcing. There is no active fire, and we're continuing 2 engines. So Adobe Canyon is no active fire, just power lines arcing? Yep. Okay.
Well, hang on.
All right. All righty. All right. And you'll let us know if anything changes? Yep. All right, thank you. Bye.
Yes, where is everybody? We're right in our backyard, and there's no fucking fire engines here.
There were reported, hurricane force winds, fire tornadoes in the Coffey Park area. There were things that really shocked us the next morning looking at that, where there was a vehicle upside down, 100 feet into Coffey Park.
I've been told that the cars that are out in the middle of the street were...
It's really something when you think about, we were on last night and the Atlas fire was 200 acres. The fire that started in Calistoga and went down to Santa Rosa was very small as well, and it just exploded with big winds.
This is a litmus. Everybody I have talked to today knows somebody who either lost. Heather and I were talking. Heather goes, I know somebody lost a home. I know 3 people who lost homes. That's 2 people in a room full of 4 people. So that means out there how many people have been touched by this story. This is huge. And what happened last night with those winds, we talked about it earlier, it was an urban wildfire, something I've never seen. The thing in the Oakland Hills, that was more rural. It was tree strewn. What happened here, and I illustrated this earlier today, but here is the Fountain Grove area. I know this area pretty well. I used to work up there at a TV station. So Fountain Grove Parkway goes like this. It runs downhill, and it's in a bit of a canyon.
now it's starting to smell like houses burning. Look at all this, man. There's all kinds of structures burning here. Are you serious? This was supposed to be. I just want to stop and. Where's that at? Oh boy. Is that a gas station there? Oh boy. I guess you just let some of the stuff just burn, huh? I can actually feel that heat, Kyle. You feel that? Oh my god. Wow, it is blowing out that side. That's crazy. Look at This over 100 homes. Well, I don't know. Not much here. This is like a freaking bomb went off. Like a foundations, barbecues, and chimneys, man. That's all that's left. Wow. Boy, I should have pumped there. Yeah. we can find you. Right here is a post. You want to cut down that way on the post?
I never said anything because I didn't want them to look bad. They'll look better now. America knows it has created a problem. And so problems when you're facing war need to be addressed. Because you can't go to war and the inside of your house is at odds with each other. So I went when my son said it was all right. But while I was on that plane, as Allah is my witness, I was in the business section, so they have a little cubicle in these newfangled planes. And I was in my little cubicle in the middle of the plane, so I couldn't look out. And while I was making my dua, talking to Allah, so help me, He interrupted my prayer. So I went when my son said it was all right. But while I was on that plane, because I was asking for guidance, let me tell you what happened. See, I'm beyond lying. I wouldn't give a damn that I would have to lie to you to get you to believe in me. Hell no. Lying destroys my integrity, and therefore I should never lie. Because you can't do a damn thing for me, and you can't do nothing to me. I'm almost where I want to go. He interrupted my prayer. I didn't hear a voice, but it was like sending a thought. Said, you're in the right place at the right time. And just as it was with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, before he left this earth, he sent messages to the Khosrows of Persia, to the Caesar of Rome, to the Negus of Abyssinia, yeah, he did, and to the rulers in Egypt. That came right in my mind. You are in that frame now. I'm not going there to ask for nothing. I'm going there now to deliver a message. And what is the message? I told my enemies at the press conference, I don't say nothing in private that I'm afraid to say in the public. You want to know what I said? Allah says in the Quran, speak straight words. And if you can't speak a straight word, then it's because you're crooked.
When we go off to war,
1,000 acres, 0% contained.
God damn! God damn! God damn! God damn!
There is at least one home that is still standing. Can you bring our viewers and myself up to date as we just now are joining? Is the entire area destroyed, or is that right? Is that in fact a home behind you? I can see a vehicle parked outside of it. Is that in fact a home that's still standing? Oh no, I see the flames now.
No. No. What you're looking at is part of the hotel. This is part of the Hilton Hotel. Where I was standing behind me was the Fountain Grove Hotel. So there are two hotels essentially on the same property, just separated by a driveway. It's the Hilton that you're seeing burning. You know, there's a vehicle in front of it, but I don't believe the vehicle belongs with the hotel. So yeah. This is part of it. This Hilton is in sections. It's got various parts to it, and at least 2 or 3 of those parts are like what you're looking at. They're
it's a
either
huge
destroyed or on their way to be destroyed.
It's a huge hotel. You can see it right there from 101 when you're driving up 101 through Santa Rosa. Rob, the one thing I don't notice here are any firefighters. I imagine they're just too busy with other things that they're essentially just going to let this burn itself out.
As part of it, this Hilton is in sections. It's got various parts to it, and at least 2 or 3 of those parts are like what you're looking at. But I don't believe the vehicle belongs with the hotel.
They're essentially just going to let this burn itself out?
So yeah.
They're essentially just going to let this burn itself out?
So yeah.
Not that intense. No way. Oh, there's another one. Well, they had all that fuel stored out in barrels. And another one.
And when I was moving out, I was with my wife, drove by around my shop. I saw my truck was already fire, and fire was not coming even close to the building yet. I saw my truck was already fire, and fire was not coming even close to the building yet.
In the hill and coming down, so everywhere along the 101 corridor, basically North Santa Rosa, is being impacted still by this fire. It still is very dynamic and very active, as you can see.
What are we seeing and hearing right here?
Yeah, so you're seeing some sort of material ignite and burn in there. You're getting a lot of materials that are vaporizing and combusting, gas lines, different materials they may store in the structure. And obviously some explosions occurring as well.
Are we in danger right here? Do we need to start thinking about moving back based on this?
Good time to end the interview and step back for a second.
Okay, so guys, sorry about that. We are going to have to actually move our position right now, so I'm going to send it back to you. It's just too dangerous for us to be here right now. Absolutely. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.
There's not! There's no such thing as demon-possessed! Theories? I got bad news for you, man. You really gotta go get help.
what he had gone through. He did deal with some drug abuse when he was a teenager. He was clean for about 10 years, and then recently he started smoking marijuana, probably to deal with, some of the demons that he faced after doing.
I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons.
This bitch walked in with so much money I had to give a free truck to help me.
No cars leave at all.
No.
One sitting over there.
No, there was lots of cars. You haven't seen anything leaving the area. Look at the intensity.
I believe that's the upper part of where those firefighters are.
That whole... Oh!
Ooh, that's going to be loud.
Boy, that destroyed everything. That'll get...
That gets marshmallow effect a little bit.
And you see this...
Wow! Those sons of bitches are loud!
Now we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for to fix, and the destruction is incredible. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests, because it's disgraceful. What's happening should never happen. I go all over the country and I meet with governors. The first thing they say is there's no reason for forest fires like that in California. So I say to the governor, or whoever's going to be the governor of California, you better get your act together, because California, we're just not going to continue to pay the kind of money that we're paying, because
the bridge there is still shut down. Fire crews still back there, and actually it's still smoldering, believe it or not, all these hours later. So we're still going to be out here, and again, hopefully get more information. All that I've been able to see, though, just from our vantage point, is just beneath this actual bridge itself. So I've not been able to initially, or I should say from where I'm standing, I have not been able to see anything that would confirm or deny a multi-vehicle accident. However, again, when you're talking about how hot it got in order for it to actually warp steel, that's one of the things, that's one of the big questions. That's the question we're talking about, is what even could have caused that.
In the air, catching the bottom part of the bridge on fire. ODOT says they're going to have to replace 3 highway beams as well as the highway sign that Tanya just mentioned. And because of that, they're going to need to do the deck of the highway, replace that as well. The focus right now for the emergency crews that are on the scene is the cause of that fire. They're looking at the playground and the materials that playground is made out of. A bunch of different synthetic materials. You've got some plastics, you've got some woods, there's also some rubber, there's a mulch in that area. So they're looking at all of that to determine a cause, but haven't found one yet. That is what they're working on today. Take a listen to what the fire chief told us just a bit ago about how the damage to the bridge actually occurred. The good news here, if there is any, is that there was no damage to any of vehicles that were traveling on top of the bridge at the time. There was no hazardous materials, as far as they know, that was released. There was no impact to any utilities in the area, and there was no injuries to any of the firefighters who were here. But this is the very beginning of a very long investigation and a very big headache for a lot of drivers.
We were peppering the fire chief with what caused this, what is your investigation showing? Obviously, very, very new investigation. They won't even commit to, was this started by a human being? Was this an electrical issue or not? What we can tell you, it was very damaging and it was extremely hot. Andrew, thanks so much.
This morning at approximately 03:30, we were dispatched to a fire down here at Sawyer Point at Thousand Hands Playground. We had several units dispatched. We had 3 fire engines, a fire truck, a district chief, and a heavy rescue. And we're glad to report that there were no injuries from this fire. Assistant Chief Matthew Flagler assumed command very early in this fire, and we'll talk about the specifics surrounding what occurred.
Good morning, my name is Matt Flagler, Assistant Fire Chief, Cincinnati Fire Department. Like the Chief said, at 03:30 we started receiving calls for a fire. We had some conflicting reports that there was a vehicle fire on top of the bridge and a fire below the bridge. The fire was below the bridge in the Thousand Hands Playground, as Chief stated. That fire, the heat from that fire actually extended up and caused a fire on the bridge itself and in some of the structure around the bridge, which the Department of Transportation will discuss in detail. The fire was extinguished by our firefighters. We had about 60 firefighters on scene, and we are glad to report currently there are no injuries. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. There was a lot of damage to the playground structure and to that area, so it takes us a while to go through the fire debris to determine a cause, but our fire investigators are on scene and they're being supported by Cincinnati Police and some of our federal partners as well to make sure that we have a good cause and origin of that fire, but there's no known cause. We're happy to report that there was no vehicles that were impacted on the bridge or damaged. There was no hazardous materials that we know of that were released in any way. We've been working with the Metropolitan Sewer District to confirm that the sewer system is safe. There was no impacts to any of that infrastructure. Duke Energy has been on the scene with us and made sure that the utilities in the area are secured. We have had no loss of utilities or power in the area from the fire. I'm going to turn it over now to the Ohio Department of Transportation.
Just real quick,
I'll get back to you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Matt Bruning, I'm the press secretary for the Ohio Department of Transportation. We don't have a lot of details yet. We still have inspectors that have been here on the scene for a couple of hours, but we're still trying to get access up into the close area of the bridge, maybe up on top as well to get a good detailed look. As of right now, the goal is to get the northbound side inspected first. We think there's less damage there, so we're going to try to get that inspected first. The southbound side is going to remain closed until further notice, though. We have some significant damage on the Ohio approach to the bridge. At least 3 beams will need to be replaced on that portion of the structure. That will also necessitate the replacement of a portion of the bridge deck. And there's also a sign truss up there that was damaged in the fire, so that will need to be removed and replaced.
At this time, we'll take any questions that you might have.
Some of the beams seem to be...
Okay, hold on, let's start right here.
Some of the beams seem to be sagging, almost as if perhaps they would be melted. Is that...
Yes, the fire was a very large fire that put out a lot of BTUs, and so because of the source of the fuel that was involved in it, it created such a large source of heat that it began to compromise some of the integrity of the structure, and so we have our partners here working with us to determine the safety issues that are concerned with those.
What was that made of, that playground equipment?
There was several different materials, synthetic materials primarily, and so a lot of plastics were involved. Some wood was also involved in the structures.
Yeah, because wood itself's not hot enough to burn steel, is it?
Wood can be. It just depends on the amount of fuel source that it has, the amount of wood.
I know you said the cause is under investigation. Any preliminary findings that this might have been intentionally set?
Right now, we don't have any indications one way or another, and our investigators are currently working to try to determine the cause and the point of origin where the fire actually began.
What's the distance between the ground and the bottom of the ditch?
It appears to be close to 40 feet. And, yes.
Okay, Matt, I got a question for you, sir. You said you need to replace. Is there any source of ignition you can determine? Is there any electricity going to that area? Is there anything that could have sparked this fire that you know of?
Well, that's still being investigated, and so electricity to the other parts of the park haven't been compromised. So we're still investigating to try to determine, the ignition source of the fire.
Was there electricity that ran to that?
There's electricity in the area. They have lights in the park, and so obviously they were fueled, but those sources were underground.
So do you think
this was something that right now?
Like maybe it was a homeless person at the little play area, or is there any indication that it could be via you?
Well, we really want to be careful before suggesting that could be a possible cause, but we're looking at all options of how the fire started.
Can you talk about what was the main source of fuel for the fire? Was it the mulch? Was it the actual structures? What was actually the thing burned?
Right, it was everything, and so that's why it produced so much heat, because we had different, from the mulch, from the different plastics and synthetic material that were involved in this fire. That is which caused such a large fire.
Do you know if it was wood mulch, or was it rubber mulch, or do you know that?
I don't know that.
You said it was very high BTUs. You got an estimate?
Because of some of the damage, and it's just an early assessment, we're talking about thousands of degrees because the way that it impacts some of the structure material, some of the spalding that we saw from the concrete, and some of the early videos that we were able to take a look at I mean, we're talking probably several thousand degrees.
Is this trying to wrap your heads around, because the Brent Spence, the fire was on the bridge itself. This was 40 feet above. Can you explain how intense that has to be to bend steel 40 feet above?
Well, right, and it goes back to the question about the British thermal units, the amount of heat that was given off by this fire, and the fuel source. All those things contribute to that, and it's an open space which allows it to extend vertically much easier than it does in a structure fire. And so just because the fuel source was able to put out that much heat, that's why we saw a lot of the things that we saw from the footage.
Is this being considered suspicious for KYTC, please? Corey, can you come up here? Suspicious, Chief? Is this being considered suspicious?
No. Again, what we're trying to do is trying to determine the cause, and we'll be able to, after we're able to assess all the information that we have, we'll be able to address how this fire actually started.
You haven't ruled that out, though, being suspicious.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
You haven't ruled that out yet, though, being suspicious.
We haven't ruled anything out. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here. I know that crews have been working hard to keep things roped off, keep things blocked off, just for safety precautions as they continue to investigate this. This is something we're going to be keeping an eye on for you. For now, though, I'm going to send it back to you.
And yeah, Peyton, I'll take it from here. So, you know, one of the things that when we first got on scene that they had to do that was absolutely imperative to the investigation, they had to simply secure the scene. That included moving us from underneath the bridge. That's actually where the media was initially told to go when they arrived here this morning. So we thought at that point that we were a safe distance away from the fire and from those points of kind of those smoldering points, those hot spots that kept popping up this morning. This little gap here right underneath the bridge there is still shut down. Fire crews still back there, and actually it's still smoldering, believe it or not, all these hours later. So we're still going to be out here, and again, hopefully get more information. All that I've been able to see, though, just from our vantage point, is just beneath this actual bridge itself. So I've not been able to initially, or I should say from where I'm standing, I have not been able to see anything that would confirm or deny a multi-vehicle accident. However, again, when you're talking about how hot it got in order for it to actually warp steel, that's one of the things, that's one of the big questions. That's the question we're talking about, is what even could have caused that, because an accelerant of some sorts, I mean, would be imagined here. But again, I'll keep checking.
All right, Jordan, appreciate that. Just a simple question there, because absolutely it was reported initially as a vehicle crash, but you've got a lot of leaves on the ground. You have dry wood with that playground there. It wouldn't take a lot to set that thing up. And, of course, the flames did do some damage, as we now know, to the Ohio end of the Daniel Carter Beard Bridge. Daniel Carter Beard will remain closed indefinitely. Some of that debris that was falling off of there, our videographer capturing there.
That's right. It is closed after an early morning fire, approaching nearly 5 hours now. Sending things back out to Peyton Marshall. And Peyton, where you are, we're seeing that fire reignite.
Yeah, you're seeing it. We've been talking about the hot spots all morning. I'm going to take a step aside. You guys can see those flames already behind me. Just right here, I am at Yateman's Cove, and right here at the park, you can see this, where this fire is taking place, where you're seeing those flames just bellow out. This is where the park was. When I was here earlier this morning, when I first arrived, and keep in mind, this is in a location that I am very familiar with. It took me a while to even put together that this was the park, because just these flames that you're seeing an example of it right now, but these hot spots, fire crews have been working tirelessly to put these out. Now, we do know that there is structural damage to the steel of the bridge. That's what we've learned from investigators. Earlier this morning, I was also talking about things falling from the bridge. You were actually able to see it. You were able to hear it. We've learned that it's spalling, which is actual concrete that is burned at a high temperature. So just in speaking of those temperatures, you can see there's another hot spot, actually, as I'm watching this. There's another hot spot to the left of these flames that we're seeing. And I know the questions that a lot of you guys have is about the bridge, right? We'll take a look above. You are able to see the pictures that we've been seeing this morning, the videos that we've been seeing this morning. This is what the bridge, this is the aftermath of the bridge. I've seen fire crews, I've seen police officers pacing here with flashlights, looking up at that structural damage that we now know have been confirmed. I know there's still a lot of questions about just how this fire was ignited. We're still working to learn just the details of that. I know we have a lot of elements, but there's still a lot to investigate. Just behind me, you can see those fire crews. They're back at it again to put out another hot spot. And you know what? This isn't the only view. We've got Jordan, who's also on this. Jordan, from my understanding, you're able to see these flames as well, correct?
Yeah, Peyton, about 2 minutes ago, I started saying to our producer, come to us, because of this here behind me. This really, within the past 5 minutes, this fire here kind of at the base of where we've been standing all morning. First, we just saw it really smoldering, and then within a couple of minutes, it kind of evolved into what you're seeing right now. So Peyton, I'm not really sure exactly where your vantage point is at this moment, but I know now firefighters now approaching this fire once more, putting more water on it here this morning. Because, I'll tell you what, the wind isn't even that strong here, but just in terms of how quickly it can come up and really then begin to evolve in terms of the fire itself. That's why they moved us. That's why they have completely blocked off this road. Caution tape, investigation tape, I should say, for the red, speaking to the red tape down there. But teams of investigators now on the scene here this morning, continuing to analyze.
40 feet in the air, I want to go see what there is to see.
Yeah, because wood itself is not hot enough to burn steel, is it?
Wood can be. It just depends on the amount of fuel source that it has, the amount of wood.
The fact that a fire in a playground can reach a temperature hot enough to melt the beams up there, which you can clearly see the beams are damaged.
music you are listening to is completely electronic.
This morning at about 3:30 a.m., we had fire companies dispatched to multiple locations, both under and on the I-471 bridge. That playground was heavily involved in fire, and the fire actually transmitted to the bridge structure of the I-471 bridge. There's some netting and some equipment underneath that bridge that also caught on fire. The fire to the playground was extinguished relatively quickly by the firefighters. However, the fire that was on the bridge is pretty complex, and it has done some damage to the structural steel that's on that bridge. So it takes us a while to go through the fire debris to determine a cause, but our fire investigators are on scene and they're being supported by Cincinnati Police and some of our federal partners as well to make sure that we have a good cause and origin of that fire. But there's no known cause.
Thank you.